Good morning, good people of Cape Town. I know you guys are still enjoying your refreshments, which is cool. Don't stop. We'd like to kick off. Know that there are still some of our good friends en route, so we will welcome them when they arrive. You can join us. But please carry on enjoying the refreshments as we embark on our journey. So, yeah, everybody doing well? Everybody good? Yes. Thank you for the three of you who were prepared to answer me. Really appreciate it. Guys, for us folks that don't live in Cape Town, coming to the mother city is always very, very special for us. In fact, we always look for opportunities to come and visit Cape Town, and we always appreciate the time that we have to visit here. Also, we appreciate every single one of you making the time out of, no doubt, very, very busy schedules. Difficult word to pronounce if you're a boerseun, schedules. Making time in your busy diaries to hang out with us today. My name is Hendrik van der Berg, and I would like, on behalf of the Profmed Board of Trustees and our Principal Officer and Chief Executive, Craig Comrie, who's to your right on my left, who will be sharing the space with me this morning, I'd like to extend a very, very warm welcome to Profmed 2026 Benefit Showcase. Guys, we've prepared some goodie bags for you. In there you will find some useful bits and bobs, some homegrown deliciousness as well. The 2026 Profmed schedule of benefits is in there, as well as a QR code. Who doesn't know how to scan a QR code? And nowadays, with ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all that goodness, it's become synonymous with information transfer. So you can use the QR code to download all the 2026 Profmed information you will need to place all your professional business next year with Profmed. I'm hopeful. And then, guys, when we conclude, we'll be as succinct as we possibly can. We know you guys are busy. But when we conclude, if possible, stick around, linger a bit. We'll have some refreshments, some fresh refreshments for you outside. And I'd like to spend some time with you. That's the primary reason why we are doing this in person. Engage with you guys, chat, learn, understand what you guys think and feel. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you will. So all the difficult technical questions, you're very welcome to direct them to Craig. He'll answer all those. I'm happy to talk about, well, golf maybe, Ryder Cup, those American idiots, right? Maybe you'd like to talk about the box, that's always a nice story. Or maybe you'd like to debate the virtues of a good pastry. I'm a Chelsea bun man myself. I'm sure you can see that. But I'm always open to discussions. All right, getting to the business end of stuff. Some of you might know we like to use metaphors, carry our message across, to color in our narrative, if you will. And today will be no different. And so I just thought it appropriate and respectful to pay some homage to the source of the metaphor that we'll be using today by way of a very, very short story. So before I get there, to ask a quick question or two, okay? I'm just going to hold this up. Can you guys see at the back? It's interesting, all the oaks with the spectacles sit right in the back. How does that work? Julle ons moet voor wees. Can everybody see what I'm holding up? No, I didn't ask you to say what it is. Check. Okay, you're dope, ne? All right. Who can now tell me what this is? Yes. It is a Lego Ferrari. Indeed. We're going to be giving away a Ferrari today. All right. Very, very, very quick story. This is not just a box of Lego Ferraris. How many of you have children and have to buy this stuff? This is freaking expensive, right? You could actually trade this in for a real Ferrari, I think. So, quick story. And when I'm done, you need to pay attention. Because when I'm done, I'm going to ask a question, okay? And the person whose hand goes up the quickest, ma'am, you're not allowed to use AI for this, okay? I'm sorry. This is like not Teams. I see you under the camera with your phone. I can actually see you. Ask a question, and the person whose hand goes up the first and gives me the correct question gets to get the Ferrari and take that home. And if you don't want it, it's fine. I still play with toys. You can give it back to me. All right, so the story goes as such. 1932, a humble carpenter decided that he wanted to start making toys for children. You have to specify that because today, a lot of people never grow up. Toys for children, okay? He wanted to challenge them intellectually, stimulate them from a creativity perspective. And in 1934, a gentleman by the name of Ole Kirk Christensen started the company that we now know as the Lego organization, okay? And in 1940, he started making toys from wood and a few other things. In 1947, he added plastic. I'm going to grab my piece of paper. I want to pronounce this correctly. So this is not just plastic. The Ferrari that you will be taking home is manufactured from acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. I tried it, okay. So on a molecular level. So guys, we know stuffs at Profmed, okay? We know stuffs. And in 1949, he developed and patented the little Lego block. The building blocks that we now know that have become synonymous with Lego. And a legion of different applications for children and adults alike, okay? Here's my question. Who can tell me the nationality of Mr. Christensen? Where was he born? Hey, hande op eerste. I saw that hand first. Yes, sir. He was indeed Danish. A Great Dane. No, that's weird. Sir, would you like to come and collect your, just for the cameras? They aren't eerst gesien. This is legitimate. We're not family, even though we look similar.
Equally handsome.
Got it? Thank you for participating. Thank you for everything that you do for Profmed. Really appreciate it. All right, getting into the business side of things, I'll be handing over to Craig very, very shortly. Just take you through some of the things that we want to talk about. So for more than 60 years, Profmed was officially registered as a healthcare funding entity, 1960. So for more than 60 years, Profmed has built bold futures alongside our trusted partners and our members. And guys, we really, really appreciate your support. Entrusting the healthcare funding responsibilities of your professional clients to Profmed is not something that we take lightly. What we do is we're serious about our business, and we are very serious about healthcare funding, and we are very serious about our collective clients. And like Lego blocks, each year we've added the right pieces. In 2026, we're adding even more to the journey. Benefits that are stronger, more dynamic, and designed for every stage of life. I'm going to go life, not lice, life. Some key highlights, healthcare in South Africa. Craig will be sharing his ideas in a very short while. I'll be talking to you about our enhanced benefits, 2026, what's on offer. Craig again will be talking about our journey from a financial perspective. I'm sure he'll be touching on COVID, what that brought about. And also, I'm sure very proudly, he will be sharing our reserve recovery strategy and the successes we've enjoyed in that space. And then obviously, probably the most important thing is what this is going to cost. We're very, very excited about this slide, okay? And with that, please help me welcome Craig Comrie, Principal Officer and CEO of Profmed.
Thanks, Hendrik. Hendrik says something like "Ek hou jou dop." I thought that was he holds my drink, but I guess it's translated differently in different parts of the world. So, but it is wonderful to be here with you. I always claim my nationality as a Cape Townian as well. I've lived anywhere between Paarl, Bantry Bay, and some other spaces in the Cape, but that was 30 years ago. But I also worked for Metropolitan for 20 years, so I know Park de Cup down in Belleville side. I guess it's upwards from here. And so, yeah, I do think that the Cape is just the best place to be in the country. Certainly when you put on weather like this, and I know it hasn't been like this the whole week. I'm surprised many of you are even here. I used to fly down from Joburg, get to the office, and then realize that I'm the first one in the office because the others had been on the beach early in the morning. So we decided to have this a little bit later so that we can have all of you here. And it's always great to see everybody from the waist down because the VC and the video stuff is now a bit tiring for us. So we decided we're going to rotate the presentations throughout the country again. It was 7 years. I started with Profmed 7 years ago. It was 7 years when we last presented, in fact, in the same conference center. I don't know how many of you were here then. So it's been too long, and it's great to see all of you. So let's get to some of the details that you've all been waiting for. So one of the things I wanted to start off with is just to speak about where healthcare in South Africa currently sits, and we can almost not go there without a little bit of a view on NHI and the long-awaited reforms that healthcare actually needs. It's not just the public sector that needs the reform. It is the private sector too. In fact, if you had to project 50 years from now what medical schemes would cost you, none of us would be able to afford it. None of us sitting here can afford it. So without the reforms, we're in a race down to the least available healthcare services in the country. So what we really need is proper, realistic changes in the healthcare system. So we thought for some time, and for almost 15 years of putting in proposals to the Department of Health throughout the white and the green papers, and then we landed up with the NHI Act, which we vehemently oppose. We don't oppose what it's trying to achieve. So what it's trying to achieve is better healthcare. That we want. Everybody wants that. I don't know if you've got relatives, but I have, and I've sat with them in a public facility, and believe me, if you guys are privileged here in the Western Cape, try a Gauteng public hospital. We sat from a Friday night to a Sunday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, to actually get a bed, which we were told was not available. 3 o'clock in the morning, there were 60 beds, only 2 occupied. So it gives you an idea that we need to change what is happening in the public system as much as we need to change the escalating costs of the private sector. So we thought NHI would initially be the attempt to get this right, but what it doesn't get right and where the challenges, the constitutional challenges come in, is this fight about what equity means. Equity can often mean that not everybody has a house over their heads. It means everybody has perhaps an afdak over their heads in healthcare. It's a similar equation. But you're still going to pay the same. If you're in the private sector, you're still going to pay the same. And so the race towards equity is the wrong debate. The right debate is how to improve healthcare with the systems we currently have to reset it. And so the challenges of the NHI is really about the heart of the South African population. It's about talking to how healthcare, not just in the private sector, is going to improve, but it's going to improve even what happens in the public sector. So the challenges talk specifically, and I'm the chairman of the Health Funders Association. So if you don't think the private sector is together, we sit there, Discovery Momentum, Profmed, CAMIF, BankMed, you can name the other 16 medical schemes, all the big administrators are there. We sit there and we have proposed an alternative, the alternative to NHI that actually will achieve will have a better chance of achieving better health care for everybody in South Africa, with realistic visions and how to get there, without removing the choice. Can you imagine one of the first benefits NHI is going to nationalize is where you have your baby? You're not going to be able to determine where and who's going to deliver that baby. They're going to guide you exactly and tell you what you must do, and probably sit you in the same queues that we see the ineffective public system have. So that's a removal of choice of healthcare. That's a constitutional challenge, and where the constitutional challenges are coming in. And so you'll see Health Funders Association in the bottom in the middle, but there are eight different parties that are going to fight this challenge, and I can tell you we're spending a huge amount of money on it. It's far too much money to be challenging an act that is unrealistic and will not achieve what it's actually going to, what it's set out to do. So that will unfold, and unfortunately, like we see many of the other legal cases, it's going to take a long time. You are going to hear a lot of political posturing in terms of what the agenda is behind NHI. They're going to promise private sector quality healthcare, which is totally unrealistic. It'll cost us close to R1 trillion per year. That makes Eskom look like it's nursery school brother. Okay? It really is unrealistic. So what you have to do is you have to, for the first thing that we quickly realize, you have to still change, but not in the way that the NHI is dictating the change to happen. So we have to all participate. We can't think that we don't have to participate in bringing better healthcare even to the public sector, those who access public sector health. We will all participate. So much of the challenge is going to a procedural-based challenge. A lot of people are questioning whether the president actually applied his mind when he signed in the NHI Act 2 weeks before the elections. A lot of people are questioning that, so that's a legal challenge in its own. For the most, many of us have actually suggested that the NHI Act should change, should adapt to a more pragmatic and realistic space. So you'll see that debate going. At the HFA, we spent almost 15 million rand on research by health economists, experts in the marketplace, on what a feasible alternative would be to NHI. So ours doesn't come with just a criticism that NHI is not going to work. It comes with, this is how you can change and make it work. So we'll see all of that unfolding. It's going to take time. So you're going to be known as the generation that lived in the NHI reforms in South Africa and through the court cases. One of the reasons that we actually need change in the private healthcare sector is the fact that in private healthcare, the average ages of medical scheme members are increasing. And so you can see whether you want to look at all schemes, open schemes, restricted schemes, the blips at the start in 2005 and 6 where it goes down is the emergence of GEMS, the Government Employees Medical Scheme. Okay? But for all the years, we've seen ages across all the schemes, and I am clear that it is all the schemes, has gone up. For every 4 months, a scheme ages, you can add a 1% to their premiums. That's what it costs. So if you age by a year, you add in 3% per year. And so we see that driving some of the increases throughout the medical scheme industry. So there's just a bigger view of it. So we aren't going to sit and do nothing about it. As Profmed, we said, well, how do we look after specifically our professionals? For the most, we still have half of the scheme consists out of healthcare professionals, doctors, specialists, and others. The other half are gratefully accountants and engineers and a few other professionals as well. So we still specialize in providing the best healthcare for a professional. So when we look at that, we've looked at what the markets have done. Now, this is an interesting slide provided by Insight Actuaries. They're our actuarial consultants, but it gives you an idea of what's happened to South Africa over the last few years. And you'll see the red line, the one on the left-hand side is actual fact the purchasing parity of South Africa with the GDP per capita, and the one on the right-hand side, GDP per capita in the US markets. You can see the turning point of the GDP per capita of South Africa in US dollars. You can see the turning point in 2010, 2010, it starts to change. South Africa has always been classified worldwide as a middle to higher income country until 2010. Now we look like we're a middle income country because our GDP today is the same as it was 2009, basically. It's the same value. That puts pressure on the whole economy, including the professionals that are out there. I've always said that the professionals, the more professionals we have, professionals tend to be entrepreneurial. They start a practice. On average, they look after 8 families, okay? Whether it's people that work as receptionists and others in their space. But on average, they're looking after 8 families. If you want to solve the unemployment crisis, produce more professionals. And so we've seen the pressure the last few years on professionals. We actually have seen, I don't know, in all the presentations or the showcases that we've done previously, there was one reason why the number of professionals declined in Profmed. I'm not going to give away another Lego Ferrari, but the reason was that they were immigrating. The number one reason people were exiting Profmed wasn't to go to a Discovery or a Momentum or another scheme. That's not the reason. Number one reason was that they were immigrating. The global demand for professionals is immense. The opportunities are amazing. What we need to do is create more of those opportunities here in South Africa. So we actually need to find a solution for the unemployment problem. You would have seen a lot of noise the last 3 years about unemployed doctors. Now we know there's unemployed accountants and other professionals, but it has been very clear that the unemployment of doctors has been a major, major issue. So the unemployment rate, if you think it doesn't affect professionals, you're wrong. There are a lot of young unemployed professionals in the country. I think you probably see them. They probably want to belong to a medical scheme but can't commit to it because they don't have a long-term view of what their income looks like. So we have to find a solution in the unemployment space. So, I mean, we could have said, well, we'll wait until the economy changes, when other things happen. We said, no, that's going to take too long. So what we did is we actually decided to do something about it. So you would have seen at the start of this year, we actually partnered with a platform specifically looking at doctors and dentists, trying to give, and you'll be amazed, it takes a doctor 2 years to find employment. A young doctor exiting community service takes them 2 years to actually find employment or start their practice. And I gather it's the same for a lawyer. I gather it's the same for the others. But we could do something in this space. So what we did is we established a platform. Somebody wanted to call it Tinder. I said, no, it's Finder. It's not quite the same. But it connects established practices, doctors, and the average age of a GP is 56 in South Africa. Next 10 years, the bulk of the GPs should retire. We know they work longer than that. But that's the average age of a GP. They're looking to either sell their practices or bring somebody else in to actually take over the practice. And so Finder starts to give the young unemployed doctors locum experience, an opportunity to get some experience and hopefully long-term establish themselves, maybe take over a few of those practices. So that's what we did, because unemployment is one of the main reasons why people are not taking up medical schemes. So it's not the only partnership that we created. We also looked at all the young professionals, not just the doctors and dentists. We looked at all the young professionals and we said, well, what else can we do in this market? And so we have been for some time speaking to some other really big partners. And so here's one that we launched at the end of August. So ourselves and Rand Merchant Bank, RMB, got together and we said, what do we do with young professionals? And the first thing that we said is, hey, they're exiting articles, community service, or exiting training or studying. What are they going to do now? They usually don't have access to any credit. How do you get financing for a setup of an office somewhere? How do you get that right if you don't have any capital? And so what we've partnered together is to approach this young professional market and provide them with some credit from RMB. They get access to our ProSelect Savvy, so heads up, it will only cost 1,077 Rand next year per month on ProSelect Savvy. And they get access to that for then a year until they're established and the income starts kicking in, then they can migrate up to other spaces. And so RMB also then said, well, we'll contribute 2,500 Rand to the PPS wallet account as well. So not just having a hospital plan, a little bit of access to some day-to-day benefits. If you're young, you usually just need to go to a GP every now and again. There's not much more in demand there. So we've partnered with RMB. It's a huge brand. Can you imagine Profmed sitting next to a brand the size of RMB to access the young graduating professionals? And so there are some RMB, it's quite insistent that the profile is under 30. It's the first time that they've taken up medical scheme, etc. So it's not open to everybody. So there are some terms and conditions attached to that. The other undersold partner that we always seem to miss out on, and I thought for a moment I'd actually share this. We've seen some of the big medical schemes and administrators talk about their major profits that they earn in the healthcare space. I don't think it gives the medical scheme space a good name to talk about the major profits until you return them to the members of medical schemes. And so our partnership with PPS does exactly that. So you'll see in 2024, PPS allocated 5.6 billion Rand to the profit share account. So this is to PPS policy holders. They do say qualifying policies, but it includes then Profmed members. So any type of Profmed made out of managing the medical scheme, because we outsource our services to them, the call center, etc., is returned to Profmed members. The trick is with a qualifying PPS policy. Okay, you need to have a qualifying PPS policy. So that's how we've done it. You'll see over the last 5 years, in fact, it says 19.6 since 2004. That's what they actually paid out. It's about 20 billion Rand over the last 5 years that they've allocated to profit share. And what they've done in addition, they've given you a booster. So you get a booster for actually having Profmed and a PPS policy as well. So if you, as an intermediary, are only selling Profmed, consider how the member can receive the profit share. It's not enriching another shareholder unrelated to the scheme. It's enriching our members, because we always say we are always owned. We don't have shareholders. We are owned by our members. It's as easy as that. There's nobody else benefiting at all. So over the years, we've actually included PPS Wallet and PPS Gap as additions to the bundle of services that we have. We can't offer it as Profmed, but PPS offers it as complementary to how you would structure membership at Profmed. So when members are looking for medical savings accounts within a scheme mean that you narrowly can only contribute 14% of your premium. It's fixed. That's what you can do. PPS Wallet allows you to choose in multiples of 100, whatever you can afford. Right. So that's the smart way. And it's integrated, so you don't have to go claim from PPS Wallet. It comes into the system, automatically goes and looks for the wallet and pays it from the wallet. So it's a seamless process. In fact, that same seamless process is the way Gap works as well. A lot of the Gap underwriters in the market make fortunes of money because when you have 100 Rand difference in Gap, you aren't going and collecting the claim and going to claim that from the Gap provider. They know that. That's how they price it. They make almost 40% profits off your Gap product. This one means if it's 2 Rand, 5 Rand, if there's a Gap, it automatically pays. And that's the way it's structured for Profmed. So lots of value in the partnership that we have with PPS. So before I'm going to now hand over to Hendrik just to take you through some of the adjustments that we've made this year. I can just confirm that there's almost 40 million Rand of enhanced benefits in terms of the package that's returned to members in 2026. Thanks, Hendrik.
Thank you so much, Craig. Yeah, much to be excited about. and we always look at these slides, some of them telling a slightly macabre story, and then obviously some good news as well. But the thing about South Africans, we are resilient, right? We just find a way. When things get tough, well, we simply find a way to move forward. That's what we're doing. I am very excited to share with you what we're doing for 2026. I'm just going to move a little bit out. I don't like standing behind the podium, but you can see what I'm talking about on the screen. So, foundation adjustments, what does that mean? So obviously our reserves, any funds reserves is extremely important and speaks to stability and obviously the fund's ability to pay claims. We've increased our benefit limits by 4.5%, and as Craig spoke about, we'll be talking about further on later on, how our financial story is such a nice one to tell. It's a success story of note. We have improved our consultation rates on both our GP and specialists. We think the rate adjustments reflect fair compensation, narrowing co-payments while again maintaining accessibility to essential healthcare. These okies are quite cute. So ProSelect, Savvy and ProSelect, we've added virtual consults, virtual healthcare, and our research shows us that the young folks, the young professionals, also the heavy users of DeepSeek and ChatGPT, those folks, you know what I'm talking about? They are more comfortable with virtual consults than maybe older folk like me. So we are moving forward with the times. We've enhanced our dental care benefit on these two options. Orthopedic support, structured support, maintaining, again, healthcare quality and sustainability. Proactive Plus, we've added a new physiotherapy benefit, guys, 800 Rand per family. And it's a separate allocation. So the 800 Rand is ring-fenced and will be able, so the member will be able to access the full 800 bucks for physiotherapy. On the ProSecure options, you still always have the Savvy options. Just a quick recap, Savvy is our efficiency discount options. The Medical Schemes Act makes provision if you as a fund are able to negotiate discounts with hospital groups specifically, and then you can pass said discounts directly onto the member by way of a contribution. That's what our Savvy, that's an efficiency discount option. So on all our options we have that available. And on ProSecure Plus and Pinnacle options now features a family dental limit, one strong block. So it's a family limit that if one person needs to access the entire legal block, then they can. All right, this is something that we have spent much time about and extremely excited. Enhanced prevention strategy. So everybody knows preventative care is the new buzzword, right? Go for the screenings. Early detection gives yourself, your physician, and your healthcare funder more than enough time to decide upon the appropriate treatment going forward, right? So we reimburse these at specialist rates. We've included the human papillomavirus vaccine for males as well now. It has been a part of our offering for females, girls. And then proactive health management encouraged through Amplifier. Very excited about Amplifier. This is an extra block pack, guys, making your cover unique. So what we've done is we have made this now an annual benefit. Every adult paying member on the fund, so Amplifier is available on all our options, right? Every adult paying member on the fund, they go through the screenings, right? There are five things you have to do, which are good anyway, right? Check for this, that, and the next thing. Once you've done that, you automatically unlock an extra 2,750 Rand available immediately for use as you need it, right? So if you two of you in the family, you can do the maths. I've actually got an illustration a little bit later. If you don't want to do the maths, that's also okay. We will not judge you. All right, Craig spoke about the PPS wallet. this is one of our building blocks, right? Delivers financial control. So you decide whether you want to add 100 Rand a month, 500 Rand a month. Maybe you get a bonus. Maybe you sell that old boat that's been standing outside and you got 5 grand, you want to stick it in PPS wallet. You can absolutely do that. And yeah, if you envisage yourself or one of your children maybe need braces or something like that for the future, the wallet is the perfect vehicle for you to start saving for that if you're on a benefit option that does not offer that. Okay, so absolute perfect building block. I'm going to show you a very, very short video. It's on one option, right? But it speaks to the flexibility, the building block, the modular approach, if you will. If you take a hospital plan and you add a PPS wallet, and you unlock the benefit through amplifier. What that physically means in rands and cents, yeah? So, as I said, we hope that it is clear that, and the message is quite simple. If you don't need to upgrade from a Proactive Plus to a Pro Secure, there's a notable jump in increase contributions. If you need to, then that's cool. But if you don't need to, you can increase your cover by making use of the wallet, adding the PPS wallet, and then unlocking the amplifier. Okay, I'm coming towards the end of my shift. I'll be handing over to you back to Craig again shortly. We honestly believe this. Your healthcare build is only as strong as its environment. Talking about our networks, our hospital network ensures top quality care with no co-payment. I just want to talk about this quickly. So one of the most important criteria we use when selecting hospitals for our network is not just money, guys. It's about clinical outcomes, right? Certain hospital groups, you might know this, you might not know this. Private hospital groups have a bad rep when it comes to septicemia. Obviously, we don't want to, expose our members to that. So that's just an example of how we go about selecting the hospitals that we want to do business with. Okay, that's how we put our networks together. Should you decide to go out of that network, you are welcome to do so. There will be a co-payment. I'll just take you through this very, very quickly. All of you can read, right? All of you can? Okay, cool. This is one that we're very, very excited about. Family physicians are the connectors. We believe that, linking every block of care. So we are paying family physician consultations now reimbursed at 20% more than 2025. So I don't know how many of you guys know or make use of a family physician. These guys are like all the specialists that you can think of in one. They're very, very special people, and therefore we want to acknowledge that by the way of how we're going to reimburse them, but also support them in terms of their vocation and encourage them in terms of what they are doing for us and our members. Profmed, look at that. So what are we talking about? More value, enhanced benefits designed for real healthcare needs, not just the payoff line. Every single thing that we are trying to do should have a positive effect in rands, in real rands and cents. If not, we strip it away, okay? It's quite simple. More care, expanded access, improved coverage, more for you. In the end, Profmed is like that box of Lego that I spoke about. And then finally, before I hand you back to Craig again, I spoke about this earlier. I'll say this again. Your support as our trusted partners is extremely important, not just from a relationship perspective, but also from our collective value proposition. Healthcare funding is complex, you know it, as well as we know. No matter what happens in the NHI space, no matter what happens in any of the other spaces, people, professionals and other people alike, always will have to speak to someone to explain complex stories to them. Healthcare funding is one of those things. And that is why you guys are so very, very important to us. So, again, a heartfelt expression of gratitude for your support, going backwards. And thank you for the 5,000 new members that you guys are going to be bringing to Profmed in 2026. Thank you, Craig.
There's only one way to measure the strength of a medical scheme. It's not size. It's not the size of its membership. It's, in fact, from a financial perspective, it's the solvency ratio. The regulator looks at it. Everybody looks at how many times you can, or for how long you can cover claims without receiving income. That's where the solvency ratio actually comes from. So when we look at increases for 2026, we've actually seen the solvency ratio give you a good idea of where the increases will be. So if you are looking at any medical scheme in the market, look at the incline of where their solvency ratio is going, and then you can quickly pick out what their increase is going to be for next year. So just in terms of the solvency ratios, we've put a lot of the competitors that are mentioned by our members and your clients and yourselves. So we put them next to each other just to give you a view of that. You can see the direction of solvency ratios. It's quite clear across the industry. Some of it does relate to the space where during COVID, many of them built up a lot of reserves. But COVID's 3 years ago plus. Now what's happening is the solvency ratios are declining significantly. So there's one thing you can do. You can cut benefits, and you can drive higher than normal increases. And that's the strategy that you'll see. On the Profmed side, we've included an extra line on the left-hand side just to give you an idea of the fact that we have actually reversed what was happening 5-7 years ago. We've reversed it in a space where our solvency ratio is heading in a different direction. In fact, the scheme does not want to hold reserves unnecessarily. We do have a slight bit older professional population. Professionals tend to be a few years older than the rest of the population. So we will hold, in fact, the guideline for the board is that they want to hold between 35 and 40% in solvency. But we don't want 50 or 60 or 70. By that time, we're going to be returning some of that value back in terms of benefits or lower increases. So here's then the increases, and I know you've all been only waiting for this and finished building Lego. Huh? You're waiting for this. Again, look at the solvency and you look at the increases that are coming through in the marketplace. We don't know Fed Health. I think Fed Health actually launched today as well. So you'll get that feedback. But here's the weighted average increase announced by the competitors. And let me just explain weighted so that you understand it. You can't take all the increases divided by the number of plans. That's not weighted. It's actually weighted depending on where your membership sits. So it's not a secret, but more than 60% of the membership of the whole industry sit on the bottom two plans of almost every scheme. Huh? Very few people actually sit on the higher plans. So naturally it will weight to the lower space. So this is the Profmed increases. So we're happy to own, for the second year running, the lowest increases of our competitors in the marketplace on a weighted membership basis. So yes, the higher plans always drive a higher increase. If you have somebody who, unfortunately, or a family member who has oncology and is accessing biologics, there's a fantastic new biologic that is gene altering. Use it once, and it saves your life. Do you know how much it costs? $4.25 million. Okay? Give you an idea of where, it's fantastic. Can you imagine? Fantastic medicine, but it costs a lot. And so many of our members move to ProPinnacle only to access biologic cover because the benefits are there to cover it with a 20% co-payment, by the way. Hey? So think of that. Medical schemes will never afford some of the new stuff that's coming through. It doesn't matter how it works. There'll be probably a few thousand people in the world that will afford those type of life-saving treatment. Can you imagine? But this is the increases. We've tried to reposition the ProSelect space to be our most affordable space for members. I told you earlier that the number one reason why people left Profmed the last 5 years was immigration, until this year. This year, the number one reason is affordability and unemployment. That's the number one reason. Established professionals are leaving Profmed. They aren't going to another scheme. They're actually just going without cover. Can you imagine doing that? That you're going without cover. I'm sure you see it. People want to join, and then when you show them what it will cost, it becomes problematic. But I'm hoping when you do the comparisons, the benefits have all increased. Hey? There's not one benefit that has decreased. The benefits have all increased. And when you give advice, I think this is going to help you to hit the 5,000 new members next year. But one of the partners that I don't want to miss in our partnership for futures is you sitting here. We appreciate your input. Most of the benefits that we've changed, like the physiotherapy benefit that we've added, comes from the input that's come from many of the brokers here to say, hey, this plan's just not competing properly, doesn't have this type of thing. So please continue to share that with us. We do lots of research, but we love getting the cold face information from you so that we can adapt our benefits and make sure they're current, make sure it becomes easier for you to close the deals with your clients. So there's the weighted average for Profmed. So I hope that resonates with you, and I'm going to invite you to stay a little bit longer. And the reason we made this a little less formal with smaller tables is so that you meet each other, but certainly you engage with Hendrik and myself and Ruth and some of the other Profmed people. So share with us your experiences. We want to be able to respond and try and equip you with the best that we can in the market. Good. Thank you very much. So there's a schedule of benefits in the little gift bag and goodie bag. You can also just pick up on the QR code, and you'll get the electronic version of that benefit schedule. So thank you.